Hey, I'm Suzanne Tickmeyer with No Longer Quivering. I want to talk about something a little bit different today, and it does and does not have to do with No Longer Quivering. Many of you know that I've had problems with a former Pathos blogger who's now a blogger on another platform, taking content and various other things, misunderstanding what we're saying. I want to talk a little bit about what might be going on. I'm not going to name this person, I'm not going to shame them by saying exactly who they really are. But I saw something today on Dr. Phil that I thought was just very, very intriguing and interesting. He was talking today, and I don't like Dr. Phil. Let me go back. I don't like Dr. Phil. I don't watch him only because my elderly mother adores him. She talks about him in his show frequently, and it gives me an entree into her world to have something to talk to her about that her and I can discuss. So we have very little in common, but if I watch Dr. Phil, it gives me something to talk to her about. Dr. Phil today had a girl on who was in her 20s that catfished people online that wanted to adopt children. Okay, so I'm putting on my social worker hat now. This girl wanted to adopt children, kept telling people that she would let them adopt her child. She kept claiming she was pregnant. She was a pregnant 15-year-old. She used all these false names. She catfished people into believing she was going to give them her baby when it was born. There's only one problem with that. There was no baby. This girl was in her 20s. She was maliciously manipulating these people. Towards the end, when Phil talked about why she was doing this and called it maladaptive behavior and she was getting a payoff, it was like, for me, the light bulbs went off in my brain. And I thought, wow, this sounds very familiar to problematic behavior I've seen all over the blogosphere, especially it seems to be on YouTube. It's really ramped up, and I think it's because of the potential for attention. He talked about the girl being, well, she obviously had some kind of mental issues going on, and what those were, nobody really agreed on. But she also had this problematic personality disorder and maladaptive behavior that likely sprang out of some type of trauma. The way he was explaining it, and I've been doing some reading since the end of the show, is that it's something you do to make yourself feel better. She felt better when she received the attention. Everybody kept telling her she was the greatest for giving them her child, kept talking about how special she was, and giving her the kind of warm, fuzzy strokes she really wanted. That she apparently wasn't getting in her real life because she was something of a shut in because she had a heart problem and various. This was her coping mechanism to get the kind of attention. And he talked about that type of attention is like a drug. It's the same as people who practice self comforting through maladaptive behavior by drinking, using drugs, overeating, any number of not very good coping skills, but they use that. Many people do that. I know myself, particularly in this pandemic, has a tendency to snack a little more than I should. I actually have banana bread in the oven right now. I'm gonna have a big slice when that is baked. So that's my maladaptive behavior. Anyway, long story short, he talked about for her that attention rush was stronger than heroin for her. So that enabled her to go from couple to couple to couple to couple to couple and just catfish the hell out of all these people because she was getting this attention payoff from all these people. I am wondering if we're seeing something of that nature from the blogosphere when these things happen with these bloggers, particularly the ones that jump from community to community, that fight with people to people to people, that start all this drama, particularly the ones that claim what a victim they are and that people are exposing their real addresses or whatever. I have to wonder about that. I've been doing NLQ for 10 years, and I've had my share of people trying to dox me, and it's kind of funny because I go by my real name. I make no secret where I live. I am just very out there and upfront with what I am and who I am. This is how it is. This is the way it bees. Better to be honest and upfront and just completely demystify that. Even though I did laugh at the attempts to say I didn't live in Costa Rica, that was pretty funny. I wish, I wish I was just going from resort to resort to resort. That would be so wonderful. Anyway, back to maladaptive personalities. Well, when they make their leap from accusation to accusation, or from subject to subject, victim to victim, to bullying to bullying to bullying, they're getting a chemical dopamine rush that is as strong as any heroin addict's hit, I'm guessing. Seems to make sense to me that that's what's going on, knowing kind of what I know about addiction and problematic personalities. This comes out of dysfunction. It comes out of carrying a lot of trauma in your life, or maybe things that have happened to you when you were a child or younger, or even a teenager or a young adult. This becomes a lifetime coping mechanism for people, and it's just not healthy. So here's what I'm proposing. When we see bloggers that are operating in that very dangerous, very toxic, maladaptive personality disorder thing, that are just floundering around trying to get as much attention as we can, I'm beginning to think we need to just say, no, we're not going to give you that attention. We're definitely not going to give you positive attention. We're just going to go, bless your heart, and move on by. Because there's no changing these people until they take responsibility. The person I'm thinking of owes probably 30 people I know of apologies right now, but I think it will probably never come. I think the people who think they're going to get an apology will never, because that's just not what these people do. And it kind of makes me laugh because maladaptive, and I hear the word maladaptive, and I think about here in Costa Rica in Spanish, muy mal, very bad. It's like a bad, unproperly adjusted personality. Here's what I would like. I would love to see these people get treatment, real treatment, not just Dr. Phil BS treatment, but the kind of heavy sledding you get when you go to a psychiatrist. Maybe they need medication. They surely need talk therapy and a whole lot of other stuff. But let's not feed them anymore. I think that I am not going to be feeding any of them anymore. I'm going to say, please do not feed the maladaptive personality disorders in your life. And that's my advice for today from me to you. Love you guys. See you later.